Hello there, my dear friend. It is good to be with you in the deep, quiet stillness of this hour. The world outside is still sleeping. The moon has finished its journey and has slipped below the horizon, and the sun has not yet begun to dream of its rising. It is a time of perfect, profound, and absolute stillness. It is the pause between the end of the night and the beginning of the day. And in this sacred pause, I invite you on a journey. Not a journey to a faraway land, but a journey into the very heart of your own home, into your own kitchen. For tonight, we are not going to be great adventurers or wise philosophers. We are going to be something much more humble, much more essential, and perhaps much more powerful. Tonight, my friend, we are going to be bakers. For there's a certain kind of hunger, is there not? A hunger that cannot be satisfied by any food. It is a hunger in the soul. A hunger for a feeling of warmth, of nourishment, of a deep, quiet, and unshakable sense of our own worth. And tonight, we are not going to search for this nourishment outside of ourselves. We are going to learn the ancient, beautiful, and deeply satisfying art of making it ourselves. We are going to bake the bread of self-worth. So, I invite you now to find your most comfortable place of rest. Let your body grow heavy, your breath grow slow, and let us begin our gentle, sacred, and creative work. Imagine, if you will, that you are standing in a large, old, and very quiet kitchen. It is your own kitchen, but perhaps a version of it from a simpler time. The air in the room is cold. It is the deep, still, and honest cold of a house that has been sleeping all night. The only light comes from the faint, gray, pre-dawn twilight, filtering through a large, single-pane window, just enough to see the shapes of things. You can see the long, sturdy, wooden table in the center of the room. You can see the dark, silent shape of the great brick hearth and oven against the far wall. It is the heart of this kitchen, but its fire has long since gone out. It is cold and dark. This cold, quiet kitchen, this is the feeling of our own inner state. When we wake up in the middle of the night, feeling empty, feeling a little lost, feeling that our own inner hearth is cold. It is not a bad feeling. It is not a frightening feeling. It is just a feeling of emptiness, a feeling of a deep, quiet hunger. Our first task is not to frantically try and fill this emptiness. Our first task is a simple and a beautiful one. It is to bring the first gentle light. In a corner of the kitchen, you find what you are looking for. A single, long, tallow candle and a single match. With a quiet, mindful intention, you strike the match. A sudden, beautiful, and courageous flare of light in the deep, gray stillness. And with this tiny, precious flame, you light the candle. The flame is small, but it is steady, and it is enough, Place the candle on the great wooden table. Its soft, warm, and gentle golden light pushes back the cold, gray gloom. It does not fill the whole room, but it creates a small, warm, and sacred circle of light right where we are. This is our workspace. This is our sanctuary. This first, simple act of lighting a candle is our intention. It is the act of saying, I will not stay in the cold and the dark. I will, with my own hands, create a little light, a little warmth. Now, let us turn our attention to the hearth. It is cold and dark, but a baker knows that the oven must be prepared first. It needs a long, slow, and patient time to gather its heat. So, let us lay the fire. You'll find a stack of dry, seasoned wood beside the hearth. First, you lay the kindling, the small, hopeful beginnings. Then, you lay the larger, more substantial logs of a long and steady burn. And then, with a piece of burning straw lit from your candle, you offer the gift of fire to the wood. At first, there is only smoke, but you are patient. You blow gently on the embers, and then, with a soft, gentle whoosh, the kindling catches. A small, cheerful, and bright orange flame begins to dance in the darkness of the hearth. It is alive. We will close the door of the oven now. The fire must do its work in private. It needs time to slowly, patiently, and thoroughly heat the great, thick clay bricks of the oven, so that they will hold a deep, powerful, and enduring heat. This fire is our own deep, inner intention, our commitment to this sacred process, slowly building its strength in the background while we do our gentle, mindful work. The kitchen is a little warmer now, a little brighter. The cold, lonely emptiness is beginning to recede. We have brought the first light. We have laid the fire. The space is prepared. And now, we are ready to gather the simple, humble, and miraculous ingredients for our bread. And so, we stand in the quiet, candlelit warmth of our inner kitchen. The deep pre-dawn chill has been softened by the gentle golden light of our single candle and the slow, steady, and growing warmth emanating from the great brick hearth. The fire of our intention is building its strength in the darkness of the oven, preparing the way for the great transformation to come. And we, in this sacred, peaceful, and amber-lit space, are ready to begin the true and humble work of creation. We are ready to gather our ingredients. The art of baking bread is an ancient magic. It is the art of taking the simplest, most humble, and most elemental substances of the earth, and through a process of patience, of warmth, and of loving attention, transforming them into something that is not just food for the body, but nourishment for the soul. And the ingredients for our bread of self-worth are just as simple and just as profound. Let us turn to the great, wooden table in the center of the room. Upon it, in the warm, dancing candlelight, you see 4 simple, beautiful, and earthenware bowls. They are waiting. Let us approach the first and the largest of the bowls. It is a wide, shallow, and generous bowl, and it is filled with a soft, pale, and incredibly fine powder. It is flour, but this is not just any flour. This is the flour of your own essential being, your substance. I invite you now to do something you may not have done for a very long time. I invite you to plunge your hands into the flour. Feel its texture. It is incredibly soft, silken, and cool to the touch. Let it run through your fingers like the finest, palest sand. This is the very stuff of you. It is the accumulation of all your days, all your experiences, all your joys, all your sorrows, ground down into this one fine and beautifully complex substance. See the different colors in it, the pale, creamy white of your innocence and your joy, the flecks of golden brown from the sun-drenched days of your strength, and the tiny, almost invisible specks of dark bran, the tough outer husk of your experiences, the struggles that have given you your fiber, your resilience. It is all here, and it is all beautiful. For too long, you may have judged this substance. You may have wished it were finer, or purer, or different in some way. But tonight, we will not judge. We will only honor. This is your flower. This is your life. And it is the perfect and the only ingredient we need. With a simple wooden scoop, let us measure out a generous portion of this beautiful flour and place it in the great empty mixing bowl that waits in the center of the table. A soft white cloud rises for a moment and then settles. The foundation is laid. Now, let us turn to the second bowl. It is a smaller bowl, and it is filled with pure, clean, and life-giving water. This is the water of your compassion. It is the element of feeling, of flow, of gentle, loving, and unconditional acceptance. It is the water that will bring the dry flower of your history to life. Dip your finger into the water. It is cool and clear. Now, slowly, with a steady hand, we will pour this water into the bowl with the flour. Not all at once, just a little at a time. As the water meets the dry flour, watch what happens. The flour darkens. It begins to cling together. It is being transformed. You are gently, lovingly introducing the element of feeling, of compassion, to the dry facts of your own substance. You are beginning to soften your own story. Now, we come to the third bowl. It is a very small bowl, containing a coarse, crystalline, and beautiful substance. It is salt. This is the salt of your experience. It is the salt of your tears, both of sadness and of laughter. It is the sharp, savory, and sometimes bitter taste of a life that has been fully lived. A bread made without salt is bland, tasteless, and unsatisfying. It is a life lived without feeling, without the full, rich spectrum of human experience. We do not want that. So, we will honor our salt. Take just a small pinch of the salt in your fingers. Feel its rough, crystalline texture, and sprinkle it over the flour and the water. We do not need much, just enough to add depth, to add flavor, to add the beautiful, complex, and savory taste of reality to our creation. This is the act of honoring all of your experiences, not just the sweet ones. It is the act of acknowledging that even your tears, even your sorrows, have added a deep and essential flavor to the person you have become. And now, we come to the final and most magical ingredient of all. It is a tiny, tiny bowl containing just a small amount of a strange, pale, and dormant-looking powder. It is yeast, but this is not just any yeast. This is the yeast of your own innate and divine spark. It is your potential. It is the mysterious, living, and invisible force within you that has the power to grow, to expand, to transform the dense and the heavy into the light and the airy. It is your spirit. It is the quiet, miraculous, and often forgotten life force that is always, always present within you, even when you feel at your most dense and at your most lifeless. For this ingredient, we must first awaken it. In a separate, small cup, let us place this dormant, dusty yeast. And now, we will add a little of our warm, compassionate water and a tiny pinch of sugar, the sweetness of a single, hopeful thought. Let us stir it gently. And now, we must wait. We must be still and watch. And as we watch, we see the miracle. The dormant, dusty powder begins to stir. Tiny bubbles begin to form. A gentle, living foam begins to rise. It is waking up. It is alive. This is a profound and a beautiful moment. It is the reminder that your own inner spark, your own potential for growth is never truly dead. It is only sleeping. And all it needs is a little warmth, a little sweetness, a little of your own gentle, loving attention to be reawakened. Now that the yeast is alive and bubbling, we will add it to the bowl with all the other ingredients. The flour of your substance, the water of your compassion, the salt of your experience, and now the living, breathing, and expanding yeast of your own divine potential. All the ingredients are gathered. They are all here, together, in the great, generous, and waiting bowl. They are a beautiful, messy, and hopeful jumble of your own wholeness. Look at them, honor them, for they are you. And now, my dear friend, the true alchemy is about to begin. It is time to roll up our sleeves, It is time to put our hands into the very substance of our own being. It is time to begin the slow, rhythmic, and deeply healing dance of kneading. And so, here we are. The kitchen is warm, the candle flame is steady, and in the great earthenware mixing bowl before us, all the humble, sacred ingredients of our being have been gathered. The fine, complex flour of our substance, the cool, clear water of our compassion, the sharp, savory salt of our experience, and the living, breathing, bubbling yeast of our own divine potential. They are all here. A beautiful, messy, and hopeful jumble waiting to become one. The time has come for the true alchemy to begin. The time has come to put our hands into the very substance of our own story. It is time to begin the slow, patient, rhythmic, and deeply healing dance of kneading. I invite you now, in your imagination, to roll up your sleeves and then to plunge your hands, both of them, into the bowl. Feel the initial shock of the different textures, the surprising coolness and softness of the flour, the wetness of the water, the slight, sticky sweetness of the awakened yeast. It feels chaotic, unformed. This is the state of our unintegrated self, a collection of different parts, different feelings, different stories that have not yet learned how to work together. Our first task is to simply, gently, begin to bring it all together. With your fingers, begin to mix and to fold. Bring the dry flour from the bottom up to the top. Bring the wetness from the center out to the caramel edges. It is a slow, gentle, and curious exploration. And as you mix, a sticky, shaggy, and uncooperative mass begins to form. This is a difficult stage. It clings to your fingers. It resists being formed. This is the moment of resistance in our own inner work. The moment when all our different parts, our fears, our hopes, our past, our future, seem to be in a sticky, uncomfortable conflict. The moment when we are tempted to give up, to wash our hands of the whole messy business. But a baker knows that this is a necessary stage. A baker is not afraid of the stickiness. A baker trusts the process. So, we will continue. Now that the ingredients are roughly combined, it is time to bring the dough out of the bowl and onto the great wooden table. The table has been lightly dusted with the flour of our awareness to prevent sticking. And now, the true dance begins. The dance of kneading. Place the heels of your hands on the near side of the shaggy, sticky mass of dough. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lean forward, putting your weight into it, and press the dough away from you, stretching it out on the table. This is the act of expression, of putting yourself out into the world. Then, as you breathe in, use your fingers to fold the stretched out dough back in half, towards you. This is the act of integration, of bringing your experiences back into yourself to be learned from. Then, give the dough a quarter turn. This is the act of shifting perspective, of learning to look at your life, at yourself, from a new angle, and then you begin again. Breathe out and press away expression. Breathe in and fold back integration. Give it a gentle turn, perspective. This is the rhythm, the slow, steady, and deeply hypnotic trinity of our own inner work. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. Let us fall into this rhythm together. Let it become a moving meditation. Feel the dough under your hands. At first, it is still so sticky, so chaotic. It is the feeling of a life that is full of unresolved tensions. But with each rhythmic press and fold, you are working through those tensions. You are not fighting them. You are integrating them. The dry parts are absorbing the wet parts. The living yeast is becoming one with the inert flour. The sharp salt is dissolving and spreading its flavor throughout the whole. This is not a battle. This is an act of unification. Press, fold, turn. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your breath is deep and even. Your entire body is engaged in this slow, powerful, and deeply satisfying dance. The fire in the hearth crackles with a steady, encouraging warmth. The rain on the roof provides a soft, gentle, and constant percussion. You have been kneading for a long, long time. And as you continue, you begin to feel a profound and miraculous transformation happening under your hands. The stickiness is going away. The dough is becoming smooth. It is developing a structure, a coherence. It is no longer a chaotic, uncooperative mass. It is becoming a single, unified, and living being. Feel the change in its texture. It is no longer limp and shaggy. It is becoming elastic, resilient. You press into it, and it gently, lovingly presses back. It has developed a strength, a core. This is the feeling of your own self-worth, being born. It is the feeling of all the different, conflicting parts of yourself, finally, beautifully, and harmoniously, working together as one. The surface of the dough is now as smooth and as soft as a baby's skin. It is warm from the work of your hands and from the ambient heat of the room. It feels alive. It seems to be breathing with you. You press your thumb into it, and the indentation slowly, gently springs back. It is ready. The great, long, and patient work of kneading is complete. You have taken the disparate and sometimes conflicting ingredients of your own being, and you have, with your own patient, rhythmic, and loving attention, transformed them into a single, unified, smooth, and resilient whole. Hold this beautiful, warm, and living ball of dough in your hands now. Feel its weight. Feel its life. It is not just dough. It is you. It is your own story, no longer a collection of dry, separate ingredients, but a single, living, breathing, and beautiful whole. You have not gotten rid of any part of yourself. The dark flecks of bran, the salt of your tears, it is all still there. But it has been integrated. It has been transformed. It has become a part of the beautiful, complex, and nourishing whole. This is the great alchemical secret of self-worth. It is not found by cutting away the parts of ourselves we do not like. It is found by having the courage and the patience to knead them all together with the warm water of our own compassion until they become one. The dough is ready, but it is not yet ready for the fire. For now, it must do the most magical work of all. It must rise. And that is a lesson in the profound and beautiful art of doing nothing at all. And so, the great, rhythmic, and transformative dance of kneading is complete. You are standing in the quiet, warm, and candlelit stillness of your inner kitchen, and you are holding in your hands a perfect, smooth, and living ball of dough. It is the beautiful, integrated, and harmonious whole of your own being. Feel its warmth. Feel its gentle, elastic resilience. Feel the quiet, latent, and powerful life force thrumming within it. You have done a great and a beautiful work. You have brought all the disparate parts of yourself together into a single, unified whole. But the dough is still dense. It is still heavy. The miracle of the yeast, the living, breathing, and expansive spirit within it, has not yet had the time or the space to do its magical work. The dough is not yet ready for the fire. It must first rise. And this, my friend, is perhaps the most profound and the most difficult lesson of all for our busy modern minds. It is the lesson of the sacred, fertile, and absolutely essential art of doing nothing at all. It is the art of trust. Imagine now, you have a large, clean, and earthenware bowl. Gently, you place your beautiful, smooth ball of dough into this bowl, and then you cover the bowl with a clean, soft linen cloth. This is an act of protection, an act of creating a safe, warm, and dark space for the quiet, invisible, and miraculous work to happen. Now, you must find the perfect place for the dough to rest. It cannot be in a cold, drafty corner, nor can it be too close to the fire, where the heat would be too aggressive. No! A wise baker knows that the perfect rise happens in a place of gentle, consistent, and unwavering warmth. Let us place the bowl on the warm stone hearth, a respectful distance from the oven door. The gentle, radiant heat from the embers will provide the perfect nurturing environment for the yeast to do its beautiful work. And now, we wait. This is the moment where we must release all control. We have gathered the ingredients. We have kneaded the dough. We have done everything that we can do. And now, we must surrender to a process that is larger than our own efforts. We must trust in the quiet, invisible, and living magic that is inherent in the dough itself. This is so difficult for us, is it not? We want to check on it. We want to peek under the cloth. We want to poke it to see if anything is happening. We are so afraid that if we are not actively doing something, then nothing will get done. We have been taught to believe that our worth comes from our effort, from our striving, from our constant, busy, and often anxious activity. But the bread teaches us a different truth. It teaches us that the most important, the most miraculous, and the most transformative growth happens not when we are striving, but when we are resting, when we are still, when we are trusting. So, let us practice this deep and profound art of trust together. Let us find our own place of rest. Perhaps there is a simple, old, wooden chair in the corner of the kitchen. Let's sit there and let us just be. Be with the quiet, waiting bowl. As you sit in the deep, warm silence of the pre-dawn kitchen, you are not just waiting, you are holding a space. You are holding a quiet, loving, and patient vigil for your own inner growth. You are creating, with your own stillness, the very atmosphere of trust that is needed for the miracle to occur. Your breath is slow and deep. With each breath you take, you are breathing in this feeling of patience. And with each breath you let go, you are releasing the anxious need to control, the need to interfere, the need to know. Let your gaze be soft, resting gently on the covered bowl. You cannot see what is happening inside, but you can trust that it is happening. Deep within the warm, dark, and protected space, the tiny living beings of the yeast are awakening. They are consuming the sweetness you provided, and they are breathing. They are creating tiny, invisible bubbles of air, of spirit, of life within the dense dough. And with each tiny, miraculous breath, the dough is expanding. It is becoming lighter. It is becoming more spacious. It is rising. This is the great secret and effortless power of your own inner spirit. When you have done the work of integrating all the parts of yourself, and then you give yourself a period of warm, safe, and unconditional rest, your own spirit will naturally, and without any effort from you, begin to expand. It will begin to create a new lightness, a new spaciousness, a new and beautiful volume within you. So, we will not peak. We will not worry. We will simply trust. Let us rest here for a long, long, and peaceful time. The only sounds are the soft, gentle crackle of the embers and the quiet, rhythmic tapping of the rain. The candle on the table burns with a slow, steady, and unwavering flame, a small, golden mirror of your own patient, watchful presence. This is a meditation on faith, not a faith in some external, distant power, but a faith in the living, breathing, and intelligent process of life itself, a faith in your own body's ability to heal, a faith in your own heart's ability to soften, a faith in your own spirit's ability to rise. And as you rest in this deep, quiet, and trusting stillness, You feel your own being begin to expand. You feel a new sense of lightness in your own chest, a new sense of spaciousness in your own mind. By simply allowing the dough to rise, you, too, are beginning to rise. And then, after a long, quiet, and deeply peaceful time of waiting, you just know. You know that the time is right. The quiet, invisible, and miraculous work is complete. Very slowly, very gently, you rise from your chair and you walk back to the hearth. You stand before the covered bowl, and you know, even before you look, that a great and beautiful transformation has occurred. And so, we stand in the warm, deep, and sacred stillness of the pre-dawn kitchen. The long, patient, and deeply trusting vigil is over. We are standing before the simple, cloth-covered earthenware bowl, and a sense of quiet, profound, and gentle excitement is in the air. We know, not with our minds, but with a deep, intuitive sense, that a miracle has occurred in the warm, protected darkness beneath the cloth. Let us now, with a slow, reverent, and deeply mindful motion, reach out our hands and take a corner of the linen cloth. And as we gently lift it away, the most wonderful and beautiful sight is revealed. The dough has risen. It is no longer the dense, heavy ball that we placed in the bowl. It has transformed. It has doubled, perhaps even tripled in size. It has expanded to fill the entire bowl. A great, soft, and beautiful dome. Its surface is no longer smooth and tight. It is alive with 1,000 tiny, beautiful bubbles, a delicate, lacy, and living texture. It seems to be breathing with a slow, deep, and contented rhythm of its own. And the smell, the most wonderful, warm, sweet, and yeasty aroma rises up to greet you. It is the smell of life, of growth, of a deep and profound transformation. It is the smell of your own potential realized. Take a moment to just be with this, to witness this quiet, humble, and yet absolutely miraculous transformation. You did not make this happen. You did not force this growth. You simply allowed it. You created the right conditions. You provided the warmth, the safety, and the patient, trusting, and undisturbed space. And the life force within the dough, the life force within your own spirit, did the rest. This is a profound and a beautiful lesson. True growth is not an act of will. It is an act of surrender. A deep sense of your own worth, your own value, begins to rise within you, mirroring the risen dough. You are worthy, not because of what you do, but because of this innate, miraculous, and unstoppable capacity for growth, for expansion, for life that is at the very core of your being. Now, we must be very gentle. This risen dough is full of a light, airy, and delicate structure. It is full of the spirit we have allowed it to cultivate. We must not be rough with it for fear of undoing this beautiful work. Lightly dust the great wooden table again with a fine silken layer of the flower of your awareness. And now, gently, gently tip the bowl and allow the great, soft, light, and airy mass of the dough to spill out onto the table. It deflates just a little with a soft, gentle sigh, like a sleeping giant stirring in its slumber. Our next task is not to knead again. The time for that deep, transformative work is over. Our task now is to gently shape, to give our newly risen, light-filled and expanded self a form that is authentic, a form that is beautiful, a form that will hold its shape in the final transformative fire. So, with very light, very gentle hands, we will begin to shape the loaf. Do not press down hard. Just gently, with the palms of your hands, begin to press the dough into a rough, rectangular shape. With each gentle touch, you are not trying to force it. You are encouraging it. You are whispering to it with your hands. It is time to find your form. As you gently press, you can feel the beautiful, airy, and alive texture of the dough. You can feel the thousands of tiny, invisible pockets of air, the breath of the yeast, the spirit within. You are not trying to push this air out. You are trying to honor it, to contain it, to give it a structure. Now, we will perform the final gentle folds. This is an act of creating a gentle but firm surface tension, which will help our bread to hold its shape and to rise beautifully in the oven. Take the far edge of the rectangle of dough and gently, lovingly fold it into the center. Then, take the near edge and fold it over the top like you are tucking a child into bed. Now, give the dough a quarter turn and repeat the process. A gentle press, a gentle fold, and another gentle fold. With each of these final, loving, and intentional folds, you are bringing a new level of coherence and of integrity to your own being. You are gently, lovingly gathering all of your new, expanded awareness. And you are giving it a form that is both strong and soft, a form that is ready to meet the world. After a few of these gentle folds, you can feel the dough change one last time. It is no longer just a soft, airy mass. It has a beautiful, smooth, and taut surface. It holds its shape with a quiet, confident integrity. It is ready. Now, for the final shaping. With the size of your cupped hands, you gently begin to roll the dough on the table, tucking the edges underneath, until you have created a beautiful oval or round loaf. A boule. It is a perfect, simple, and deeply satisfying shape. The work of shaping is complete. Look at your loaf, resting on the floured table in the warm, amber light of the kitchen. It is a thing of absolute beauty. It is the perfect physical embodiment of your journey tonight. It holds the substance of your history, softened by your compassion. It holds the flavor of your experience. It holds the light, airy, and expansive power of your risen spirit. And it holds the beautiful, coherent, and integrated shape of your own conscious and loving intention. It is a loaf of bread, but it is also you, your own beautiful and worthy self, ready for the final transformation. On the hearth, which has been slowly, patiently, and deeply gathering its heat all this time, is now ready too. The final fire is waiting. Not a fire of destruction, but a fire of glorious, alchemical, and delicious transformation. And so, the moment has arrived. The moment of the great and final transformation. You are standing in the deep, quiet, and now very warm kitchen. The air is filled with a profound sense of anticipation. On the great wooden table before you rests your beautiful, perfectly shaped loaf. A living, breathing testament to your journey of self-discovery and of self-love. And against the far wall, the great brick hearth is no longer a dark, sleeping giant. It is a being of immense, radiant, and powerful heat. The fire of your own deep intention, which you lit so long ago, has done its slow, patient, and thorough work. The thick clay bricks of the oven are now saturated with a deep, powerful, and enduring heat. They are ready. This, my friend, is a daunting moment. We have done so much gentle, loving, and careful work to create this beautiful, soft, and living dough. And now, we must offer it to the fire. We must surrender our creation to an element of such immense and transformative power that we cannot control it. We can only trust. This is the great final test of our practice in our own lives. After we have done the deep inner work, after we have found a new, more authentic shape for ourselves, there will always come a time when we must bring this new self out into the world. We must expose it to the fire of life, the fire of relationships, the fire of challenges, the fire of visibility, and it is a frightening moment. We are afraid that this new, precious self will be burned, that it will be destroyed. But a baker knows a profound and a beautiful secret. The baker knows that it is only in the intense, transformative, and loving heat of the fire that the dough can become what it was always meant to be. The fire is not an enemy. It is the final, essential, and most powerful alchemist. So, let us be brave. Let us trust our work. Let us trust the fire. First, we must prepare the loaf for its journey. With a very sharp blade, you will make a single, decisive, and beautiful slash across the top of the loaf. This is called scoring. It is not an act of violence. It is an act of liberation. It is the act of creating a designated space for the final, explosive expansion of the bread spirit, a phenomenon known as oven spring. You are giving your creation permission to grow one last glorious time. Now, with great care, you slide your loaf onto a flat wooden baker's peel, and you carry it to the hearth. As you approach, you can feel the immense, radiant heat on your face. It is a powerful, cleansing, and almost overwhelming energy. You open the heavy iron door of the oven, and a wave of even more intense, shimmering heat rushes out to greet you. Inside, it is a world of pure, glowing, and incandescent orange light. Take a deep breath, and with a single, swift, and confident motion, you slide your loaf from the peel and onto the hot stone floor of the oven. Shh! It is the sound of a perfect, transformative meeting. The sound of the cool, living dough meeting the hot, sacred stone. And now you close the heavy iron door. And once again, my dear friend, we must do the most difficult and the most profound thing of all. We must let go. We must trust. We must wait. The loaf is now in the fire. It is on its own. We cannot help it anymore. We cannot control the process. We have done our work. We have gathered the ingredients with love. We have kneaded the dough with patience. We have allowed it to rise with trust. We have shaped it with intention. And now we have surrendered it to the great, transformative mystery of the fire. Let us step back from the hearth and return to our quiet wooden chair in the corner of the kitchen. And let us keep this final, silent vigil. Close your eyes, and in your imagination, go with the bread into the fire, but you are not burning. You are being transformed. Feel the intense heat as it begins to form a beautiful golden brown crust on the outside of the loaf. This is the creation of your own healthy boundaries. A firm, protective, and beautiful outer shell that keeps your soft, tender interior safe. Feel the miraculous oven spring as the yeast gives its final, powerful, and life-giving breath, causing the loaf to expand gloriously along the line that you scored. This is your final, joyful expansion into your fullest self. And feel the deep, penetrating heat as it works its way to the very center of the loaf, transforming the soft, wet dough into a light, airy, and wonderfully textured crumb. This is the final, internal alchemy, the process that makes you not just beautiful on the outside, but strong, nourishing, and whole on the inside. This is not a violent process. It is a process of glorious and delicious and beautiful transformation. You are not being destroyed. You are being perfected. Not in the sense of a flawless, artificial perfection, but in the sense of becoming the truest, most complete, and most beautifully realized version of yourself. We will sit here in the warm, quiet, and now fragrant kitchen for a long, peaceful time. For as the bread bakes, a new and wonderful aroma begins to fill the room. It is one of the most comforting, most beautiful, and most life-affirming scents in the entire world. The smell of baking bread. It is a warm, sweet, and toasty smell. It is the smell of home. It is the smell of nourishment. It is the smell of a good and a beautiful work coming to its perfect fruition. Breathe in this aroma. Let it fill you up. It is the scent of your own completed self-worth. And as you sit here, breathing in this beautiful, comforting scent, a deep, profound, and all-encompassing sense of peace and of satisfaction settles over you. The long, dark night is almost over. The work is almost done. The bread is almost baked. And a deep, gentle, and welcome sleepiness is beginning to settle into your bones. The sleep of a baker who has done their work well and who can now rest, knowing that a warm, beautiful, and nourishing loaf is waiting for them in the morning. And so, the final patient vigil is over. The transformative fire has done its sacred and magical work, and the entire quiet pre-dawn kitchen is now filled, saturated with the most beautiful, comforting, and deeply life-affirming aroma in the entire world. The smell of fresh, warm, and perfectly baked bread. It is the scent of your own completed journey, the scent of your own fully realized and deeply deserved self-worth. The time has come. Slowly, you rise from your quiet wooden chair. You find a pair of thick, protective baker's mitts, and you walk to the great brick hearth. With a sense of quiet reverence, you open the heavy iron door one last time, and a wave of warm, fragrant, and deeply satisfying air rushes out to greet you. And there, in the center of the hot stone floor of the oven, it sits, your creation. It is no longer a pale, soft, and vulnerable loaf of dough. It has been utterly and gloriously transformed. It is a magnificent, golden brown loaf of bread. Its crust is deep and dark and beautifully caramelized. It is cracked and rustic, and along the line you scored, it has burst open into a beautiful, decorative ear, a testament to its powerful, final, and joyful expansion. It is a thing of profound, simple, and rustic beauty. With the utmost care, you reach in with your protected hands, and you lift the loaf from the oven. It is hot and surprisingly light, and as you lift it, you can hear a faint, magical, and almost musical sound. It is a tiny crackling sound, like 1,000 tiny, happy whispers. It is the sound of the crust cooling, the sound of the bread singing its quiet, happy, and contented song of completion. You carry it over to the great wooden table, and you place it on a cooling rack. And now, we will perform our final act of patience. We must not cut into it yet. We must let it rest. We must let its inner heat and steam redistribute to complete the final, subtle, alchemy of its texture. So, let us just be with it for a moment. Be with this beautiful thing you have created. You have taken the simple, humble ingredients of your own being, your substance, your compassion, your experience, and your own divine spark. You have kneaded them with patience. You have let them rise with trust. And you have surrendered them to the transformative fire of life. And this is the result. This warm, beautiful, nourishing, and deeply, authentically real loaf of bread. This is your self-worth. It is not something that was given to you. It is not something you had to earn from the outside world. It is something you have made with your own two hands from the very substance of your own life. And it is a deeply, profoundly, and satisfyingly beautiful thing. Look at it. It is not a perfect, machine-made loaf. It is rustic. It is unique. It has its own beautiful and unrepeatable shape. Its crust has deep cracks and fissures. But these are not imperfections. These are its character, its story, the very evidence of its transformation in the fire. It is beautiful, not in spite of its imperfections, but because of them, just like you. And now, my dear friend, our journey is complete. The long, dark night is over. Through the great single-pane window of the kitchen, you can see the first faint and gentle blush of dawn, painting the eastern sky in soft shades of rose and of gold. A new day is beginning, and you are ready to meet it, not as an empty, hungry, and depleted being, but as a baker, a creator, a being who knows how to create their own warmth, their own nourishment, their own deep and abiding sense of worth. There is nothing more to do. The work is done. The bread is baked. And a deep, profound, and all-encompassing sense of peace, of completion, and of deep, quiet satisfaction has settled into your very soul. It is time to rest. It is time for the baker to sleep. Let the warm, comforting, and deeply satisfying aroma of your own freshly baked bread be the final, beautiful sensation that you are aware of. Let it be a gentle, loving, and deeply reassuring lullaby for your soul. Your body is so heavy now, so deeply and profoundly relaxed. Your mind is quiet, still, and at peace. You are not hungry anymore. You are full of a deep, quiet, and unshakable sense of your own goodness, your own wholeness, your own worth. Allow yourself to drift now, to float away on this warm, fragrant, and deeply peaceful cloud of contentment. Sleep now, my dear friend. Sleep the deep, satisfying, and restorative sleep of a baker who has done their work well. Let your dreams be filled with warmth, with nourishment, and with the deep, quiet, and abiding joy of your own creation. Rest in the profound, unshakable knowledge that you are and have always been enough sleep.